What shortcomings or what short Robert Cummings Rob Zombie may have with scripting and writing, he more than makes up for in... Well, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Justin here, as always. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me today to talk about the Munsters, Rob Zombie's The Munsters. Now, if this is your first time here, again, my name is Justin. On this channel, we do movie news, reviews, rankings, reactions, all that kind of stuff. I do have a second channel, The Dead Couch, where I talk about toy collecting and physical media and all that nerdy type of stuff. If you're into that, I will link that channel down below, but that's not why you're here. You are here to talk about the Munsters, and that is what we were gonna do. Now, not too long ago, I did do a trailer reaction to the Munsters trailer, and admittedly, I was not very kind to that trailer. Everything from the extremely poor audio quality to the bad framing, to the awkwardness of the editing, the extremely cheap and low budget nature of the movie. I don't think a lot of people really thought that trailer was that great. And I'm here to say right from jump, a lot of those issues, a lot of those critiques that people had about the production value and the dialogue and the acting and just the general awkwardness of that trailer, a lot of those things do in fact exist in the movie. The trailer is very indicative of what you will get with the Munsters. But unlike that trailer reaction where I was extremely hard and proceeded to just basically shit on it, it's actually one of my most popular videos on this channel. People love to watch other people hate on things, and it's just the way it is. I watched the trailer, I reacted to it how I was. But unlike that trailer reaction where I was very harsh on it and I sort of shit on the trailer, I'm not gonna do that to the movie, and I'll tell you why. As I was watching the Munsters last night, I couldn't help but think of another filmmaker that I think shares a lot of parallels in fandom, filmography, and career, and that's Kevin Smith. I recently reviewed Clerks 3 in a spoiler review and a spoiler-free review, and I just kept thinking in my head, these guys have a lot in common. Now, although they don't have anything in common stylistically, really, Kevin Smith also wasn't a famous musician when he got started, but they both had similar beginnings to their careers with a really promising couple films that people freaked the fuck out about. Kevin Smith had Clerks and Mallrats and Jay and Silent Bob. Rob Zombie shot out of a cannon as well with House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. But as their filmographies progressed, their fans became somewhat divided. Their budgets got smaller. They no longer got these big theatrical releases. But one thing that I felt they had the most in common with, and what I really appreciated about both the Munsters and Clerks 3, is that these guys are both at a point where they no longer care about getting big studio budgets or having these massive releases. They make the exact films they want to make, and they don't give a fuck what anybody else thinks. Because these guys now make smaller movies with smaller budgets, they don't have the studios in their ear making them rewrite scripts or reshoot things. Because they make films at such a small budget, they are able to do what they want. You can tell by watching both Clerks 3, say what you will about the movie, and Rob Zombie's The Munsters, say what you will about that. It is so obvious with both of these filmmakers and both of their most recent films that they put on screen exactly what they wanted, and I respect the fuck out of that. Both of these guys, these once beloved filmmakers, have a lot of fallen fans now. If you look at the comments under videos by both of these filmmakers, you will find so many fallen fans. Oh, I miss the old Rob Zombie, his movies fucking suck. I miss the old Kevin Smith, his new movies fucking suck. And I just don't think it's fair at this point. So preparing for this review, I just felt a lot of the same feelings that I did while watching Clerks 3, and I knew I was gonna share a lot of the same sentiments that I did in my Clerks 3 review. Just the simple fact that I can do nothing but respect a filmmaker who still has a massive passion for making films and is in the position now to where he's established, both of these guys, and they're established enough and use small enough budgets to do whatever they want and be completely happy and content and make the films that still keep them in love with making movies. So I don't want to see either of these guys stop making films, and I'm so happy that they're able to do whatever they want. Their fan base is built in, and they can do whatever the fuck they want at this point. I know that sounds like a bit of a rant or an odd comparison, but I'm not gonna attack this movie like maybe I normally would if it was just a random filmmaker. The love that Rob Zombie put into this film is extremely apparent. The shortcomings of this movie are obvious. The writing is not great. I don't always love Rob Zombie's script writing. It's just the way it is. The script for the Munsters, when you watch it play out, feels like a first draft, and it would have been awesome if maybe he had another writer come in and take another passes and really flesh out the story that flowed a little bit better, because this movie sits at an hour and 50 minutes and it does feel long. Now, I'm not going to lie and say this is my favorite movie I've ever seen. I don't even know when I will rewatch The Munsters again, but I know I respect what the man did because it is all love on the screen. The movie is basically an origin story that starts before Herman Munster has even been created. You have Lily Munster who's searching for love, going on dates with like Nosferatu and other guys like that, these other ghoulish characters, and then you have Herman Munster who's been created by all kinds of different parts, and he is also on the search for love, and they find each other, and it's like it's a kid's romantic comedy story. Now, a lot of the jokes do fall flat. I didn't find myself laughing very much, but this is a kid's movie that I think kids could enjoy. There's a couple parts here and there that may be a little too creepy or a little too scary, like makeup-wise and like thematically, that may be a little too much for small kids. But if you view this as not as a fan of just Rob Zombie's movies or like House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects, if you kind of take yourself outside of that filmography and put you in the eyes of a kid, like I picture myself at like 8 or 9 years old, 10 years old, finding the Munsters, and I think if I found this movie and grew up with it, I would probably have loved this movie. So you can view this movie as a gateway horror movie that I think is kind of cool in the way of like The Gate, or even something like Return to Oz, something that gives you enough spooky shit to freak you out if you're a little kid in a fun way. What shortcomings or what short Robert Cummings Rob Zombie may have with scripting and writing, he more than makes up for in the cinematography, and some of the shots in this movie are just absolutely beautiful. I actually took a couple screenshots, well, just taking a picture of my screen, and I thought, wow, like, the man can compose a shot. There's some really stunning looking cinematography in here. I think this movie would play awesome in black and white. Even when I did my trailer reaction, I think I ran some of it in black and white. I don't know if the physical media, the Blu-ray, has a black and white option. If it doesn't, it really should have. I wasn't a huge fan of the Munsters. I watched a couple episodes here and there, but I feel like he did his best to pay tribute to this show. He's seen all of the episodes hundreds of times, as he says. So, like I said, I don't want to go on here, but I think Rob Zombie did exactly what he wanted with this movie. Whether or not it succeeds, that will be, you know, time will tell that. I know he probably wants to make a sequel, then we can kind of pick up at Mockingbird Lane, because you don't spend a lot of time there until the end when they finally move into the house, and it kind of sets the scenario up for maybe a movie that's a little bit more closer in story to some of those Munsters episodes when they're on Mockingbird Lane and they have I forget the son's name in there, the little wolf guy or Dracula guy. I hope he does get to make a sequel and is able to explore this world a little bit more, because, like I said, it's not great from a storytelling perspective. The movie does drag quite a bit. It's way too long. This movie could have been great at about maybe an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes, but it does clock in at an hour and 50 minutes, which does drag. This movie does not move quickly, but I found myself entertained. I partook in some edibles, and the visuals were really nice to watch. That's why I didn't get my review out last night. I think I was a little too high to do my review last night. Either way, guys, I don't know what to say. I'm not going to pick up this movie apart. I'm not going to dive too deep into it. It's a very simple movie. It's a love story. It's a romantic comedy. The makeup effects are great. The lighting's great if you're into the style that he used. But I suggest watching it. If you have kids, definitely watch this with your kids. I think you guys will have a great spooky time. Pair it with something fun like Hocus Pocus, and I think it'll be a good watch for you guys. So I know this review was kind of random, but it's just, I more or less just wanted to share my thoughts and say, if you're a Rob Zombie fan, I think you'll dig it. If you have kids, show them that. But either way, I think that's all I have to say about this one. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And guys, I think we're done here. Stay weird. Remember to always be yourself, and I will see you in the next one.
Hey kids, it's me, your friend Grandpa. I gotta tell you, I am starting a new club, and I want you to join. It's called the Junior Vampires of America. I mean, you'll hear scary monster stories. Now, to call, you gotta ask your parents' permission and call this phone number, 1-900-909-4300. You'll hear all about my monster friends, learn how to get a free vampire patch and a list of special vampire tricks and secrets. So call 1-900-909-4300. 4300. Learn how to scare your friends, even yourself. Join Grandpa's Junior Vampires of America Club, and I will make you a junior vampire.
Hey, kids, call 1-900-909-4300. That's 1-900-909-4300 to hear Grandpa's scary stories and join the Junior Vampires Club. Just $2 the first minute, 45 cents each additional. Ask Mom or Dad first.